Hey boys and girls, Doug Childs here. It's Warriors Rich.
And Wildmen. What's happening, Doug?
Hey man, last night, Mary Margaret and I have been out of town. I've been in Atlanta, yapping, doing book signing, speaking engagement at the Governor's Gun Club, which is a freaking incredible venue, Rich. You got to go. I said you
have to go. Got to do it.
Yeah, so Mary Margaret was in Houston doing family business, and so we met up. Finally got together after several days, and boom, on Monday, she has this thing called a DVD. Rich, are you familiar with a DVD? I'm
gonna have to access my memory for that.
Google it, man. I think it stands for digital video device or something like that. But anyway, it shows on this big screen moving pictures. It's freaky, man. And the content of this DVD came from a buddy of ours who's been on Warriors and Wildmen, I think once or maybe twice. His name's Dsouza, and he's got this film out, Richard, very interesting. It's called 2,000 Mules. Now, remember back in January of 2020 when creepy, sleepy, child sniffing, I'm talking about the half-dead carrier pigeon for Marxist radical ideas. Not Ron Burgundy, but he does read the teleprompter just like Ron Burgundy. Whatever they put on it, he's going to flip and read it. I'm talking about Joe Biden. Remember when he won by, 11, 12?
3 trillion votes?
Yeah, he had more than Barack Obama. Yeah, more than Barack, more than Trump. Trump got 11, 12 million more than he did, but sleepy creepy Joe, man, he dusted Trump by getting 10 million more than DJT happened to get. And so lo and behold, guys like you, reasonable chaps and lassies, we looked up and it's like, well, I'll be dang. Nobody came to his rallies. He didn't even campaign. When he did, there's more people in my studio and your studio than came to his flipping rallies.
Right.
And then lo and behold, Rich, miracle of miracles, Joe became president. And you and I said, well, that's a load of, how can I put this?
With the most votes in history.
Right. The most popular president ever. Even though now everybody hates him, and gas is a national average of $4.48 a gallon. So anyway, Dinesh had some interesting thing. He was sitting there thinking, you know what? There might be some tomfoolery going down here. And Rich, I can't. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't exhort you and the Warriors and Wildmen listeners enough. You've got to watch that movie. I think it's free online. 2,000 Mules. You and I knew it.
I think it's $20. It was $30. He just reduced it to $20.
Good. Very, very much worth it. And again, it's nothing new to you, nothing new to me. But the way that Dinesh puts it together, they got freaking video of these guys stuffing ballot boxes at 4 a.m. I don't know how these people, because they got him dead to rights, man. He bought up all the closed caption video. He got all the geo-tracking devices. He's following these guys all the way around, just going back and looking at them, going from city to city to city, to ballot box to ballot box to ballot box, stuffing them. And he's got their facial recognition imagery. How in God's name they're not in this thing called jail is beyond me. And the only reason I think that they're not, because again, like I said, he's got them dead to rights. He's got license plates, numbers on their car. It's freaking everything, man. I think.
Well, we know why they're not in prison, because they're emissaries of Lucifer. They're literally demonic and they're evil. And if people are evil, they don't get prosecuted in America.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if they'd been a Christian, conservative, somebody who loves this thing called the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, boom. They'd be sitting in the pokey right now getting slapped around by some jackbooted thug up in D.C.
Yeah, didn't Dinesh Dsouza get thrown in prison for campaign violations because he made too big of a donation, which nobody gets thrown in prison for that? Right. But these guys get busted cheating on a presidential election in multiple states, and no one's even charged. That's America, boys and girls. That's America.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth the watch, man. Definitely worth it. Again, it's just going to validate everything that you and I and the Warriors and Wildmen guys and gals that are watching right now are listening. that we called bull crap at the outset. We knew
Yep.
that didn't occur naturally, and all this does is go to solidify with empirical data that this thing was a deep rig and it was absolutely stolen. And CNN and all the naysayers and all the neocons and the never Trumpkins,
Right.
they can kiss our ass. We've got
Well,
the
don't
empirical data
forget,
right
Doug.
now.
Don't forget, this is also important. Those people that went to Washington, D.C. to protest that, a peaceful protest, except for a few people that were let inside that did some minor vandalism, and one of them got killed for it, of course. But she's white, so it's okay. And, they had that peaceful protest that was called an insurrection and an attempt to overthrow the government, which is comical. But then we have Black Lives Matter going and burning half the country down. And, Chad over there in Seattle and the ridiculous stuff that was going on with that, people dying, burning everything down. Those are peaceful protests. So it's important, that we can't even complain about it. Donald Trump tried to complain about it, and they said he's trying to promote an insurrection. They can burn stuff down. That's peaceful. And then it turns out that all the money donated to Black Lives Matter was buying mansions and trips and boyfriends and everything else and ridiculous garbage. And look, man, people could say that's conspiracy. Hey, conspiracy theories last year are just old news this year. We all know that all that stuff is true. And conspiracy theory, even the phrase conspiracy theory was coined by the CIA to take away any validity to a statement that's made that questions all their deep state type garbage. And so all the people that think, oh, it's a conspiracy theorist. Well, I'll tell you what, I have a conspiracy. Evil's trying to triumph in the world. Do I think these people are all devil worshipers? No, but they have their agendas, and the devil will use anybody who's lined with his agenda of evil, which is anything against God, against his order, against his kingdom, against his people. And so he'll unite everybody who hates the Christian. And so people call it conspiracy, but Christians need to wake up, man, and realize that if you're depending on government and you're counting on the government to come and rescue you, you might want to, the guys in the Old Testament got busted for that. You might want to look up to where our deliverance comes from instead of still looking at the government thinking, well, maybe, just maybe, Stay involved. We talk about that all the time. We need to vote and get involved. You can't not be involved and complain about it. But at the same time, man, if you're a Christian, we trust in Jesus, and that's our ultimate source, our base of everything that we believe and do. So,
Yeah, and a lot of the Christians with their hand wringing and their trusting in horses and chariots or in politicians, and again, I'm involved. Clash Daily's involved. I mean, 300 million page views in the last 10 years. We duke it out in regards to what goes down inside the Beltway, and try to have our finger on the pulse of what's going on in culture. But like you said, at the end of the day, beginning of the week, whatever phraseology you want to use, Christ's eternal purpose is the church, folks. Hello.
Yep.
It's not peripheral to the equation. And I know people,
Yes.
We've yapped about this for many moons, that they'll give tons of money. They will do walks around the block, and they will pass out leaflets, vote for so-and-so, do this, vote. Comes to church, they're about as active in regards to ecclesiastical matters as, J.D. Salinger was during hay fever season. It's like, where are you? It's like, you love that over there, but
who's
not so
J.D.
much over
Salinger?
here. He's a guy who wrote Catcher in the Rye. He's
I didn't know that.
Pretty much a recluse. So yeah.
Okay.
Didn't see
well, I was
him
just
very much.
throwing that out there. I was thinking if I didn't know who he was, I think a lot of people. I obviously know Catcher in the Rye, but
right. That's my gift, Rich. Obscure references makes people.
well, I like it.
So I had this.
Well, I ask. I never try to pretend like I know. I ask.
That's what I did, man. When I started cutting my teeth on the raconteur smartass extraordinaire, I'm talking about one Dennis Miller, Rich. I'd sit there like, what do you say? And so back then, you barely had the internet because we're talking about, mid 1990s and stuff. And so I had to frickin' buy like a Noah Webster dictionary to even try to keep up with the cat.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just think it's.
What are we talking about today?
I thought we were derailing nicely, man. But let's talk about
derail.
a topic. No, let's talk
Yeah,
about a topic.
let's just talk about a topic.
All right, man. So, real women.
I think that was important. I think
Of
it was
course it
important
was.
what we're talking about. But I think
Absolutely.
let's put some order and some structure on this thing.
All right, here's some juicy content for the Warriors and Wild Men listener. I think when I'm getting rich, and you've been ministering for a long time, and I've been out there for many moons now, and I'm deducing that I think chicks hate wussies, man. I think real women or real chicks hate wussies. And I wrote a book that you're very familiar with, Pussification. I think you're the first church and the only church that had me speak on that topic.
It's great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's like we can't let you sell your book here because it's got the word pussification in the title. I go, you know what that makes me think? You're a pussy.
It might be relevant.
Right. So anyway, I wrote a chapter, Real Women Hate Pussies and stuff. And so when I was talking about it on Facebook, immediately this nasty old haggard, female troll, she's like, how do you know what women like? It's like, I'm not a chick whisperer. I got to admit, I don't. And so what I did is that I said, hey, ladies, would you rather date a traditional old school manly man or a feminine metrosexual male? And check this out real quick. Angelina responds on Facebook. She said, I love manly alpha men. Nothing is worse than seeing a liberal man following a feminasty around Trader Joe's while she has his balls in her purse. So I didn't write that.
I just saw a video, and it was like SeaWorld or some water, some oceanic type place, theme park. And this guy was walking with his wife, I'm assuming, and she's carrying their baby, maybe 1-year-old. And she has the backpack with the diaper bag, pretty big backpack on her shoulder. And there's a mime there. And he stops them, and he stops the guy and stops the girl. And he takes the backpack off the girl and puts it on the guy's shoulder. Because the guy's literally walking around. She's carried the kid and the backpack.
Right.
Dude, the whole crowd started cheering. And the
That's
mime,
awesome.
when she started to walk away, patted her on the shoulder like, don't worry, I got you, And I thought, man, that was actually pretty encouraging,
Yeah.
Because that's not a traditional alpha male. That's a turd.
Yeah, that's weirdness. I remember a couple of years ago, me and my buddy Jeremy went down to Laredo before it got invaded by 4 million illegal aliens from 190 different nations, and Greg Abbott and Joe Biden haven't done diddly squat about it. But anyway, Jeremy and I were walking in. We had bandanas around our neck, frickin', suntan. We've been hunting javelina. It's like mid-May, hot as crap down in the valley. We're all dirty and stuff, got our hunting boots on. We're carrying our guns through the lobby of, I think it was La Quinta or some hotel that we were staying at. And so it was during the mask mandate, Richard. And so we come in, we're not wearing masks. We got the bandana, so we kind of look like bank robbers in case we need to, put it up for some person who's been saddled with a mass delusional psychosis. But anyway, so we're walking in there like we own the joint, holding guns, hunting, just love it. And this good-looking girl and her boyfriend meet Jeremy and I. As soon as we turn the corner to go into the hallway to our bedroom, you got this smoke show of a girl, and then she's not wearing a mask. And she looks at Jeremy and I like a pork chop. And then her boyfriend, the boyfriend next to her, he's all masked up. And I looked at him. I didn't even say anything. I looked at her. I looked at him, and I looked back at her, and she shrugged her shoulders.
Yep, she didn't have an excuse for that. And that's the problem is that when you have these wussified men, girls like them, but they don't like them to date them and marry them and breed with them.
Right.
They like them
Go
as
shopping.
a friend. These guys are like, oh, man, I have all these girls that are my friends, and they're going to stay in your friends. You're going to live in the friend zone. Unless you get some testosterone. Whoa, you got that right there? Write that down, Doug. You can keep that. You're going to live in the friend zone unless you get some testosterone. Let's go. Because you got to be a threat.
To Christianize that,
gotta be a threat.
though, it's like, dear Christian, what'd you say? You're going to stay in the friend zone unless you get, and here I'll add this to sanctify it, holy testosterone.
There we go.
Because you don't want
Well,
unholy
yeah, but
testosterone.
you know what's funny though? Testosterone is just a hormone, right? Like it's natural. It's a part of your body. It's like, well, you got to make sure you have a holy finger, you know? I mean, it's something that God gave us. Like whatever you do with your body, you're going to do with it, right? You either do it to honor God or don't. But testosterone is just testosterone. You need it. You need it. Like not having it is bad. Having it is good. What you do with your brain and your body is the holy part. But testosterone is just testosterone in nature.
Hey, check out this.
I can't even figure out how we don't understand nature. Like we look at nature and we deny it and go, no.
Yeah, not me, but that's the left. Check out what Mary said, not my Mary, but when asked would she rather have, you know, a traditional provider, protector, hunter, and hero type of dude, or today's, you know, man-bunted tinkerpot, she said, I want a traditional man. She said, I had the other for 18 long years of marriage. She said, after 5 kids, all girls, I wised up and I dumped him. She divorced him. She said he was a narcissistic, mommy-loving guy who was addicted to porn. He said, now I have that traditional old-school manly man and sometimes cannot believe the difference that it has made in our family's life. And then all caps, it is amazing.
There you go.
So in the here's another one from Johanna. She said, if your guy takes longer to get ready, if he, her husband or boyfriend, if he takes longer to get ready than I do, we have a problem! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Then she says, Rich, I will also add, if your boyfriend takes more selfies than you do, you both need to see other men.
I love it. Hey, I talked to a guy recently. We were sitting there talking, and I've met him a few times, and he said something interesting to me. I mean, my wife is beautiful, Annie's super beautiful, you know. And he says, you know, I just want to say something. I just like, you know, your wife is really beautiful, and you're pretty average. And he said, it just makes me, you know, like wonder. And I was looking at him, and I was thinking, well, the difference between me and you is you don't realize that when you said that to me, that it makes me realize you've never listened to anything that I said. And I could literally come around that table, even though you're half my age, and hit you in the throat and take your life away from you. And then you'll understand why a beautiful woman is with me and not you. You want to know why, Doug? Because I'm a man. Like you look in nature.
An anchor man.
You know what? When they're looking for someone to breed with in nature, they're looking for someone that's strong, someone that's going to make it. They're looking for a survivor. They're looking for the ones, and they're not looking for some little wuss that if anything goes down, she's going to defend him, right? Like my wife ain't defending me. We have a rule. If any violence of any kind ever breaks out anywhere, at any time, under any circumstance, her order from me as her husband is get your butt out of there and get somewhere safe so that I do not have to worry about you. Run away. Run as fast as you can. Get on the phone, call the police, do whatever you have to do, but get the heck out of there. Because if I have to watch out for you, I have more chance of getting hurt. But if you just leave me alone in the middle of the violence, I might, you know what, Doug, depending on what it is, I might not come out on top. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to come out, baby. And you want to know what women like? They like a man that is a survivor. They like a man that's a defender. They like a man that's a champion. They don't want some wuss that's like, well, maybe we should call a psychologist to come and maybe they could come and talk this down because we have too many police. It's like, yeah, you probably should just go to another country where the police don't have guns. I have several that I could recommend. England.
Yeah, again, have you ever seen the crazy hot Matrix video?
Of course. Warriors and Wildmen listener, if you have not seen the Crazy Hot Matrix video, you must watch it. You must train your sons in the Crazy Hot Matrix video. You must.
Yes. Crazy Hot Matrix.
Crazy Hot Matrix. Gotta watch it. It's classic.
And it's got a little addendum at the end of it for girls and what to look for in a guy, but it's much more simpler for the dudettes than it is for the dudes. Hey, so in my book, Pussification, the Effeminization of the American Male, so we've talked about this for 5 years. Classically, masculinity's been defined, and biblically, that men are providers, protectors, hunters, and heroes. So when I was dealing with the chapter, women don't want to date a pussy, I was like, okay, what else is there something that goes back to, bygone days, Rich? Something that is poo-pooed and rarely seen nowadays. It's kind of classified as I don't know, a dodo bird. You don't see them
Like
very much.
nuts?
There might be, it's like the Tasmanian tiger, Rich. You hear about these things, but nobody's really seen it of late. And so I was looking at old school etiquette that defined a guy as a gentleman, somebody who's bona fide, Rich, and was a keeper for the ladies. And so check this out. So here's 5 telltale signs that aren't so obvious, but you need to pay attention, ladies. Number 1, a pussy won't open the door for you.
Right. That's common decency and manners. Let's go.
Yeah, but buddy, I'm telling you, I'll never forget watching this couple, and every time that they would come to a venue, he is coming first, opens the door, and the door just wham in his in his girlfriend at that time. Right,
Doug, I don't even do that to guys in Circle K parking lot.
Right.
I hold the door open for them. How can you not do that for your wife or your girlfriend, somebody that you
Well, I would say that there's 2 reasons that you should not open the door for your lady. Number 1, the place you're going into is demon possessed. Don't put her into that house, right? You go in first, right, Rich? Also, if it's been booby trapped potentially by Islamic terrorists, don't send her send her in first.
Say so here after you, girl.
So what is opening the door for your lady represent to you, my buddy?
Oh, it represents leadership. It also represents, some people might take this wrong. It represents ownership, but it also represents respect, like a high order of respect that I respect you. And I, like I said, Doug, I'll open the door. I'll hold the door open for anybody at a store, anywhere. I just do. It doesn't matter who they are. So if that's just common manners, right? When it comes to my wife, well, she's my wife, man. She's
you value
after
her.
Jesus, she's number 1 on the earth, bro. Like, I'm opening the door for her.
All right, so you got a brood of teenagers under your roof, you and Annie. Do you instruct them to do that? It's like, hey, open the door for mom. Hey, open the door for that lady. Hey, do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's a great question. I'll tell you.
Mulch?
No, I'll tell you what. They open the door all the time, and they also hold the door open for me. When we go somewhere, one or the other will run up and open the door and hold the door open for the whole family. And I can tell you that we have never, not to my knowledge, had a conversation with them about that.
Right.
They
got it by osmosis.
Yeah, they got it by watching it, an example in front of them. But they also, I think they respect us, and because they respect us, they do it. And I got to give them credit for that. That's what a good man does, right? Like, it's just, and I try to teach them. That's what I'm trying to teach you, is be good men. That's what good men do. And they do it every time. Like, we don't have to ask them. Not ever. And they always do it. And you know what? I thank them every single time. Every single time.
Yeah, so the couple that I was telling you about back when they were dating, after their nuptials, and they had a stack of kids, he did the same thing. Boom, running into church. She's dragging kids, strollers, baby formula, and that used to exist back, in those days, and he's just there, footloose, fancy free, and then here comes the train of his sons and daughters and his wife carrying, like a pack mule, all their crap. And again, it might be something, insignificant. It's not like, he's got to be this, he's got to be that. It's like, listen, if you're lady and he doesn't do it, he doesn't value you. That's what that's saying. You are.
And if he doesn't know, teach him.
Right. No,
Right?
but if he doesn't know, like, I might give it to him, like, if he's 7. But, like, if he's 27 or if he's 17 or, 37, whatever, I'm not going to. You need to walk away, lady. You need to walk away. So
Doug,
anyway.
I have to say, honestly, when I'm out with my friends, guys, ladies, any people, we all hold the door open for each other.
Right.
So, I mean, when you start talking about your girl, that's a whole nother level.
I wonder if I wonder if the Warriors and Wildmen listener, if you got a dude or you dated a dude that didn't open the door for you and you stuck with them. I know it might sting a little bit if it turned out ugly. Please comment in the comment section about what
Yeah,
occurred.
let us know.
Yeah, what occurred later on in life when you saw that not occurring in your life when you were dating said so and so. Here's another thing, and again,
Hey,
this
let,
one's
let me jump in real quick because I want to say this. Sometimes I'm not paying attention and I'm doing something else, and Annie will stop in front of the door and wait. And some people might think, well, that's an attitude of entitlement. She knows that if I don't open the door and she grabs it and starts to walk in, that I'm going to feel bad. She's actually helping me out. Like literally, she'll just stop because she knows I'm going to, oh man, oh, sorry, run over there and grab the door. Sometimes I'm not paying attention, but I'm glad that I have a wife that allows me to step up and be the man and pay attention.
Here's one that's going to carbon date me back to T-Rex's era, Rich. A pussy won't walk with you down the street and stay between you and the curb.
Yeah. Doug, that's classic. My wife and I do that all the time. We always pay attention to where we're at. And she moves because I've moved her. I've taught her that I'm always going to be on this side, whatever side that where danger could come from, just to protect you. And so sometimes if we're walking, she will move to the other side now on her own because she knows.
Yeah,
But I don't let her to walk like
curbs
that.
were danger dwells. You can
Yeah.
get yucky, drainage water splashed on you. You get some jackass drunk or some other moron
Texting and
that's
driving
texting.
and run you over.
Yeah, and if somebody's going to die or get injured, or like I said, get drenched by some yucky ass curb water, let it be you.
Yep.
But again, do people teach this, man? I don't have sons,
Yeah, I got to ask the boys and talk to the boys about that. I don't know if they know that because I've never seen them with girls. I'm pretty sure they hide that.
Here's another one. A pussy can't find his way around a killer restaurant.
Doug, this is one of my favorite topics. I love fine dining. It's one of my, it's probably one of my vices, right? Like I love great restaurants, and I'll pay the money and pay the price. I love great restaurants, and I've been to beautiful. I've had the privilege to go around the world and be some of the nicest restaurants in the world, and I know how to get around.
Rich, you still owe me for a bally, so
I do for sure, and but I have skills.
Tell me
in
your
the
skills,
highest
man.
level restaurants. All right, one of the things I do.
Give me like the top 5 things that you do.
Here's a couple things that I do. Number one, I remember who I am, and I'm the customer.
Right,
You're not going to intimidate me.
Profit,
I got the money. Yeah,
their overhead.
Exactly. I'm coming here. I'm coming here to eat. Right. I know how to have manners. I dress accordingly to the place that I go. I don't believe in underdressing when you go a place. I think it's rude. I think it's disrespectful, and it shows that you don't have any class. So I dress according to the place that I go. But I also don't go in there like an insecure person who's trying to look like I fit in. I do fit in because I walked in here. I made reservations. I have the money to pay for my meal. I fit. So I sit down, and if I don't know the food, I'll give you an example. I know nothing about Italian wines. What I know about wines is California wines. I went to an Italian restaurant recently, and the lady handed me the menu and said, "What do you think about these wines?" I said, "I know nothing about Italian wines." And she laughed, and she said, "Really?" I said, "Nope." I said, "What do you think about this?" She goes, "Well, I think I would go with this." I said, "Fantastic." And you know what? I didn't look like somebody who didn't belong. I look like somebody who doesn't know anything about Italian wines. I'll literally sit down, Doug, and ask them, "What is your best dish? What are you guys famous for? What do the customers love when they come here?" And if it's a nice place, I'll put the server in charge of some ideas to get me going down a path.
I had a buddy of mine. He's eating at DeLeo in Miami, South Beach, Lincoln Road. Beautiful Italian restaurant. The owner loved us, and he was like, "Look, I've got a girl that I'm dating. Want to take her to a nice Italian restaurant." It's like, you got to go to DeLeo. And so he goes, And he's kind of in a quandary, as you were, in regards to the wine. And he's like, I
Yeah.
really don't know. This is, too much information. I can't process it. I'm not familiar with it. And he deferred to his date, and she asked the waiter, the maitre d', or whoever was interfacing with her, what was their best wine. He goes, "Oh, you're gonna love this wine. It's like, this is great. Everybody who has it loves it." And so they bring the wine over, and boom, boom, drink the wine and stuff, and then gets the tab. That bottle of wine costs $3,000.
Oh, hey. But you know what is interesting too, Doug? Like here's a tip for if you're going to go to fine dining, right? And this is how you choose wine, and you're sitting with some people and you don't want them to know like what you're trying to spend on wine, right? So what you do is you can look at the wine list and you can point at something that only the sommelier can see, and the sommelier is the wine guy, right? That he can see, and you say, I usually like to drink something like this, and you point at something that's in the price range of what you're thinking.
Right, like
And
Mac
what
Dog
they will
2020
do,
or something.
yeah. What they will do though is cool, is they'll ask you, well, what types do you like? And you'll tell them, and they will find you the best wine in that price point and make a recommendation to you. And then they're not going to offer you, like you said, a $3,000 bottle of wine, but you can point at, say it's a really nice dinner. Because when we go like really nice and we want to, it's a birthday or anniversary, we'll do, maybe a $250 bottle of wine. Some people that might be a waste to you, but for us, it's something that we do special once in a while, right? And so I'll point to that, and then they'll recommend something to try. And so I let them help me to get the best meal at the place, right? And so I went to a restaurant in Paris one time called, I'm not going to say it right, but it's La Tour d'Argent, right? So I looked it up, made a reservation there. It was a famous place. I got a reservation, went there with another couple, showed up. The people could not believe that we got a reservation there. I guess you got to be like a month out, but we got it. We went inside there and sat down. Coats are required. It was hot in the restaurant, and I took my coat off. And as I was taking it off, not an exaggeration, two gentlemen walked up to me at the same time, one from each side, and put my coat back on my shoulders. And one of them buttoned my top button on my coat.
What?
And I looked at the guy, I said, I'm hot. And he straightened my coat for me, like made it look nice. And he said, it's okay, sir, you'll be fine. And he walked away, and I realized that's their dress code. This is their restaurant. If I don't like it, I don't have to come here. But what I don't get to do is go there and make a scene about something stupid because I made a reservation to come here, right? That was one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. It was an amazing meal. I won't say how much the dinner cost. It was ridiculous, but it was overlooking the river in Paris, and it's like, oh man, it's worth it. Like that kind of thing's worth it, right? So, but another thing you need to do as a man is you need to order the wine, unless you're with your wife and she likes to help choose what she wants. That's fine. But then you should still order. You should taste the wine, unless you want to let her do it.
That's
and
why.
let her order first.
See,
she orders first.
Like the wine aspect of stuff, I don't like wine at all, man. Don't like it. It's like, they bring you this Bible that's got, 100 different wines and stuff. And it's just, I'm a simple guy, Rich. It's like, hey, do you have Budweiser or Tito's on the rocks, please? There's not like, how many different vodkas are there? It's like, I don't care. I want Tito's. I want some Dripping Springs.
Exactly.
I want some one shot. If you got some 1876, I'm fine with it. I don't want something that's in a frosted bottle with geese on it that's jacked up about 100% of what's actually in that bottle. So I'm a simple dude. And another thing that kind of turns me off about wine, and I learned this at my buddy used to have these incredible Christmas soirees where only dudes are invited. He's very heterosexual, by the way, but he just wanted his brothers, his team, his posse. And they came from all over the world, literally. And there's about 100 dudes there. And he was deep into wines at that time. And they're drinking wine, Rich, out of these like friggin' goldfish bowls. I mean, just these king-like goblets and stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
And so Joe and I got there late to the party. And so they're into a couple of bottles, to put it nicely. And everybody's laughing and talking and stuff. And the lights are kind of low. So he's got some good mood lighting and stuff, epic taxidermy. And then I was like, man, what's wrong with these? It's like, are their teeth purple? And so they look like they're from Game of Thrones or like Braveheart, one of
Yeah,
Longshanks men, and their teeth are all purple and stuff, and their tongue's purple, and I'm just like, hey, that's not a good look.
That's awesome.
I don't want to walk around with purple teeth, man. And so it's like, I'll stick with vodka, and I just like, whoop. So the complication of all the various wines, it's a little fussy for me, and I'm not a fastidious person. And so anyway, one of the interesting things that you said a couple of times is that you make the reservation. You make the reservation. That's what a guy does, ladies.
Yes, sir.
They make the reservation. And here's the thing that I try to do, Rich. Like, I want to find the owner and become his buddy. I want to find the bartender and become his buddy. And if I say there's a beautiful Italian restaurant down the road from us. I think you've been there. And we brought a group of dudes one time, and there was no place to sit except out in the lawn at a picnic table by the kiddies' play gym or whatever they call that stuff. And I was like, I can see a couple empty tables. Well, sir, those are reserved and blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, I got some guys here. We've got to eat. How about I give you $100 for that table over there? Boom, instant table.
Beautiful.
Instant
That's what
table.
I'm talking about. Yeah, and my old pastor, when he loves steak, like that's his thing, right? So we would walk into a restaurant. He would go inside the restaurant and walk into the kitchen, Doug. He'd literally turn and walk right in the kitchen. And they'd try to stop him, and it never worked. And by the way, this guy has been a senator in his country. Like, he's a baller. He's not like some guy walking into the kitchen in Outback, right? Not the same picture. So he would walk in the kitchen and find the chef and talk to him for 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, and then come out laughing with the chef. And the chef would come to the table and meet us, and they're best friends. And I found out that he does that at all the main restaurants that he goes to, that he's friends with the chef. And I'm like, that's a wise man right there. See, that's a man move right there, Doug. That's a man. Knowing the owner, man move. Knowing the chef, man move.
Paying the bill, man move. Over
Man
tipping,
move, pay the bill, 100%.
Yeah, so let's go into that one. Ladies, if that thing that has male wedding tackle that's across the table from you, if he won't pay for dinner, you're dating a pussy.
Oh, get out of there. That's stupid, man. I don't play that. And they're like, what's different times now? Well, guess what? These times suck. That's why we're bringing up the good times and the good men. And if your man's not going to pay for dinner, he ain't your man. Get some. And let me throw this out there. If he doesn't have a job, you're a stupid person. I'm not talking about somebody lost a job and they're in between jobs and, they're working on a career or they're in school studying to be a doctor or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who don't work. And I see these fools, Doug, at the gas station, laying in the front seat all the way down, playing on their stupid phone while the woman is out putting gas in the car. Come on, bro. What the hell is that?
Yeah, speaking of the phone stuff, so me and a buddy, Greg and Dan, we were over at one of our favorite restaurants here in this neck of the woods, which used to formerly be a gas station. So it's just you've been there several times.
Yeah.
Dirt floor, great honky-tonk type place, serves amazing food, constantly packed. And so we're talking, and I've got this couple right across from me in my, right in eye shot, and I'm watching them as we're talking about, stuff. And the woman and the dude, that it didn't look like they're married, kind of look like they're dating, and they're both on the phone the entire time.
Dude.
And then she'd pull the phone down. It's like, hey, do you like your BLT sandwich? It's like, yeah, it's okay. And they're he's constantly doing that. Again, that's a sign. The dude won't get off the phone. And your only resort is that you can either look stupid like you're with a munchkin, or you could get on the phone too and, just kind of start Googling, where do I find guys with some moxie who are masculine, who have the classic traits that Rich and Doug are always yammering about. But so it comes down to bill time. And the waitress comes over and she hands it to the guy. And then he looks at the girl, and then the waitress hands it to the girl. And she pulls out her debit card and boom, gives it to the waitress.
Bro. No.
So
no.
I
That better
hit
have been
Greg,
his sister.
bro. I hit Greg. My sister wouldn't even do it. I mean, I
Right,
wouldn't do that
right.
to my sister, man.
Right.
I was like, Greg, Dan, look at this. Look at this. You know, just freaking pissing me off just watching her. It's like, here you go. Man, I'm telling you, I wouldn't let any kind of parasitical leech like that try to French kiss me if if he's not going to pull his wallet
Yeah.
out and cover that tab. You got to be kidding me, man.
You know, and as a man, you got to learn how to show respect, not just your woman, but other men too. I was at dinner with a pastor. I was preaching for him over at his church, and we're in Atlanta, and we went to this nice place for dinner, really nice place. And so I got up from the table and I walked over to the waiter and I handed him my card and I ordered a bottle of wine. This was probably a $100 bottle of wine or something, but I ordered a bottle of wine and asked him to bring it to the table. And it came to the table and the guy saw that and he said, and the waiter handed me the receipt for it. And the pastor looked at it and he didn't say anything. But after dinner, he pulled me aside. He goes, "Hey, I know what you're trying to do. Don't ever do that again." And I said, "What?" And he said, "When I invite you to dinner," he said, "you order what you want. If it's wine, then you order your wine." And he says, "And then I pay for it because I invited you to dinner." He said, "I know what you're trying to do." And he said, "But don't ever disrespect me like that again."
Boom.
And Doug, I looked at him because he set a boundary, which I can respect that, right? I said, "Yep, you're right. I wasn't trying to get you to pay for the wine because I was the only one drinking it." And I said, "But I understand and I'm sorry." He said, "Okay, we're good, man." Shook my hand, gave me a hug. Let's go. But see, if you're a man, you know how to handle that kind of stuff. Not just restaurants. Those are relationships. People think restaurants, this isn't important to me. The relationships are important. And the ritual of eating in a restaurant is important to relationships. And understanding a man's role, especially with his wife or somebody that he's looking forward to marrying. And ladies, you need to pay attention to that stuff and how those men, because how they respond and react in those situations, how they're going to be in your relationship. They're not going to one day be somebody else.
Right. Yeah, and again, these are just little telltale signs, and I know they're not on the top of the list and stuff, but it is something that you say or that you just said, that it occurs in a more egregious sense the longer you hang out with a guy who
Yes.
doesn't have that kind of sense of sanity from a masculine standpoint. And if people think, if a girl's like, "Well, I pay for our meals, our furniture, our rent, all that stuff," and it's because I don't think these old traditional values, they don't mean anything anymore. Jesus said, "Where your heart is, there's your money."
Yeah.
And if you are in His heart, then you're going to be in His pocketbook also.
No, that's right.
You know.
Hey, let me jump in there and do some sex counseling real quick, which we've never done on Warriors and Wildmen. But here we go. Ready? 99.9% of your sexual problems in your marriage has to do with selfishness, has nothing to do with sex. If people are selfish outside the bedroom, they're going to be selfish in the bedroom. Selfish, lazy people in their lives are selfish and lazy people in bed. So if you want to know, because people are like, "How am I going to know if he's good in bed?" Well, if he's a selfish, lazy freaking jerk, 100% guaranteed he's going to suck in bed. So there you go with that. But if he's a servant and he's someone who honors you and respects you and treats you with care and affection and love and treats you like a woman and treats you with respect, guess what? All that stuff goes. Now, the other 0.1%, go to a doctor or a psychiatrist, can't help you. I don't do sex counseling other than stop being lazy and selfish. Boom. How you like that, Doug?
Dude, what's up with guys in their mid-20s with erectile dysfunction?
Well,
You see these
they're
commercials?
everything we're talking about now. They live on soy milk lattes and they don't eat meat and they wonder why their testosterone's low. And then they think like women, they behave like women, and they wonder why women don't stimulate them. Well, no wonder people are acting like homosexuals.
Erectile dysfunction at 25. I'm telling you what,
Yeah.
that wasn't my problem. I had to have a bungee cord to tie it down to my leg because it just
Yeah, and
walked
look, if you got
around
a
with
got a problem with that stuff, go to the doctor and find out, because there could literally be serious problems with it, right? But I think it's a part of our culture, Doug. I think it's just another expression of our failed culture.
Here's another one. A pussy won't ask for your family's blessing in marriage.
True.
And look, I don't care how old the guy is. It's like, I'm a man. I don't need anybody's permission. It's like, man, you are fundamentally messing up in regards to the future of your family. I
Right.
asked my father-in-law for Mary Margaret's hand in marriage, and he said, no, wait a year.
well, well,
Yeah, and so we jumped
when
through all the hoops and stuff, and then finally had to elope. But I went for it, and come to find out, we were right, and they were a little off. But
there you
I
go.
knew that I was going into a very antagonistic environment, and you still got to do it, dude. You still got to do it.
Yes. I'll tell you a great story. My daughter just got married recently, a few weeks ago, and about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago, a little longer, 6 months ago, her boyfriend texted me and said, hey, do you want to go to lunch? And I thought, that's weird. He's never texted me and asked me to go to lunch before. And I told Annie, if he tells me that my daughter's pregnant, I'm going to go to lunch and I'm going to pick up a fork and stab him right in the throat with it. I was mad. Annie said, nobody's going to ask you to go to lunch to tell you they got your daughter pregnant. She said, he's probably going to ask you if he can marry her. That's usually why that would happen if it's out of. And I thought, oh, yeah. She said, if your daughter was pregnant, she would text you and tell you. It doesn't happen like that. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. So we went to lunch and he was there and he was sweating bullets and I let him. And then he said, and I love this, and I don't think, he won't mind me telling this story, I'm sure, but he said, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask for your permission or if I'm supposed to ask your blessing. But then, and he's a big bodybuilder guy, tears started rolling down his face. And he said, I can't even imagine my life without your daughter. I love her. And I want to ask you if I can marry. And I said, well, it doesn't matter if you're doing it right. You have my permission and my blessing. And I'm really proud of you and congratulations. And he's like, thank you so much. And I said, you want me to hook you up with a diamond guy? He said, yeah. So I hooked him up with my guy. It was great. And then I told him later, I said, yeah, I told Annie, if you told me at lunch that if she's pregnant, that I was going to stab you in the throat with a fork, And he was like, what? I said, yeah, that's what, ha ha. He wasn't really laughing. But I'll tell you what, I respected him 100 times more that day. And I don't know why. Maybe it's a spiritual thing. Because I loved him anyway. He's a great guy, And when they got married, and I saw him at church on Sunday just after they got married, I loved him more. And I respect him more. So, it's not a show of weakness to ask the father of a daughter, his daughter's his treasure, for his permission, for his consent, for his blessing. That's a sign of strength. That's a sign of manhood.
Yeah.
It's recognizing the authority. And you're also asking, you have been the authority in her life. Now it's the time in her life where somebody else is going to step in, and I'd like it to be me. To me, that's great strength. That's not weakness.
Yeah, it's freaking Lancelot type stuff.
Yep.
And here's an FYI to the Warriors and Wildmen. Maybe the young guy who, first of all, I think if anybody's spent any amount of time listening to us over the last 5 years and you're still doing this crap, you haven't been listening to anything that we've said. But here, just in case, it might have slipped, young person, young boy, if you're dating a girl, you want to marry her and stuff like that, you need to understand that good dads adore their daughters. All right? They love them unconditionally. They love them without reserve. They've raised them and provided for them to their best of their ability and prayed for a great young man to come along who will honor and cherish the apple of their eye.
Yes.
And little Rico Suave should do the manly thing and honor that deep tie.
Yeah, 100% agree. I love it.
And if they don't, and he's like, well, we need to avoid your dad. And what do they know? Jesus has married us and, we're soulmates, stuff like that. Again, hate to break it to you girls, but that's a pussy and you should run from him.
Yep, 100%.
So lastly, ladies, if you're looking for love in all the wrong places, one thing to look for is look for a guy who's courageous, who will stand for what's right, speak against what's wrong, who loves everything that's holy, just, and good, and hates everything that's unholy, unjust, and ungood. And if not, man, you've got Mel the Toast. You've got somebody who is not going to be your apocalyptic warlord when the crap hits the fan. And it's hitting the fan in our culture. Pretty furtively right now. And I'd be looking for these guys. And like you said, who cares if he doesn't look like Brad Pitt?
That's it, man. And the reality is you got you have to ask yourself the question, not do I like him? Am I attracted to him? Is he nice? You have to ask yourself the question, is this somebody I want to follow, that I want to raise a family with, and myself and my family, do I want to follow him the rest of my life? And that's a big question, you know. It's not just, do I get butterflies in my stomach when he's around? Like that's third grade, you know.
Yeah, I've got a buddy whose daughter, same age as Hannah, I think same birthday and stuff. Freaky, man. And she married this dude who, you know, he's just a dreamboat, and he, you know, so good looking. And they would do modeling pictures together, and they kind of look like brothers and sisters, you know, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And he'd tweeze his eyebrows, and he would have facials and do all this kind of weird extraterrestrial man stuff. And lo and behold, the guy was gay. And she found out about 5 years later that he liked the boys. And so what's interesting is the guy that she married was the antithesis of the tinkerpot that she was married to, her second marriage. Completely the antithesis. He's a good-looking dude, but he's rough around the edges. I can tell that he doesn't tweeze his eyebrows.
He's a man.
And yeah, he's a freaking great dude, man. And but you know, she went for the looks aspect of it initially, and the Rico Suave type vibe and the shades and all that other kind of stuff. And then she's like, you know what? I'm done here. It's time for me to find me a he-man. And she went, you know, 180 miles in the opposite direction and found herself a killer dude.
Well played.
Yeah, but divorce is messy, so play it well the
Yep.
first time, girls. You know,
Yes.
that way it won't hurt your kids and hurt everybody around. And I challenge you to rebel against these 5 or 6 points that Rich and I just talked about, and go with your heart instead of your discernment. And it could.
Yep.
I think it'll go sideways on you. But that's just me. What do I know? What do you know, Rich?
What do we know? Just the Bible, a few years experience in ministry, and you know, we don't know nothing.
Nothing. Hey, I know you know what the Warrior and Wildmen listener needs to do, buddy. What do they need to do, big dog?
They need to go to warriorsandwildmen.com and subscribe. It's free. We'll send you a couple emails a week, keep you posted, let you know what's up. Listen wherever you listen to your podcast, but make sure to subscribe. That way, if we get deplatformed, anything gets moved, changed, you'll know exactly where to find us. If you want to help support this ministry, go to the War Chest, and if you give there, it's tax deductible. We'll send you all the information on that. And for those that are doing that, man, we appreciate you guys. You're helping make it happen. We appreciate you guys. Warriors and Wildmen out.